Okay, good morning, everybody. I posted a photo just a couple minutes ago on my Facebook page for this little paintini that I'm doing this morning for our final um, demonstration for the February challenge. And so you can either download that photo from my Facebook page here, or if you want to go ahead and take a screenshot, I'm going to be doing a bird's eye view looking down. This is going to be basically part of this little set that I did with the strawberry, the cherries. I'm going to be making the background more pink, continuing on with this pink, red against a light pink on these little paintinis. So doing a red rose, I'm going to be painting it vertical. These paintinis are about, I think they're 2 by 3.5 inches, maybe a little bit bigger than a business card size. These are so much fun to paint if you are feeling like you need some variety in your painting life right now, or need more fun or more, just more ease. Doing these little paintinis can really, be fun and shake things up for you. So today is the final day for these February challenges, and I do want to remind everybody this is also the last day to make sure that you are on the list, on the email list, for a chance to win the DVD. This is a value of $75. There are 5 different painting lessons on here. If you're wondering, am I on the list? If you get emails from me, from Kelli Folsom Art Life School, or Art Life with Kelli, Art Life with Kelli, then you know that you're on the list. Art Life School members, obviously, you are all already on the list and included every week in this giveaway, so you don't have to sign up for anything additional. If you know that you're not an Art Life School member, go to artlifewithkelli.com. I've got the link in the description for you. You can grab any of those freebies that I also have for you, in addition for your chance to win this DVD. And just sign up for any of those freebies. There's Oil Painting for Beginners Masterclass. It's a $500 value masterclass for any of you who are interested in improving or getting started again in your painting, or getting started maybe with still life painting. That is a fantastic masterclass that you can grab on my website. Also, the 5-day still life painting challenge. This is more of like a sequential, and it's designed, it goes step by step in 5 days, and it's designed to really break things down super, super simple, get you some wins immediately in your painting, get results immediately in your painting. You can get that absolutely for free. That's a $200 value for that challenge. So sign up for either one of those if you are not an Art Life School member, and that will automatically put you in the drawing as well for the DVD. Okay, everybody. Also, today I am presenting for the Lunch and Learn webinar with Oil Painters of America. That is going to be noon to 1 Central. I have multiple posts here on my page or in my stories. It is a Zoom registration link. You want to make sure that you go there immediately, either go there now and get registered while you're thinking about it so you don't forget. Or go there after this demo and get registered. I did learn from them yesterday that if you cannot attend live, if you register and get on the list, they will send you the recording on Sunday. Okay, so if you want to hang out more with me and learn more about still life painting, today the presentation is going to be on setting up a successful still life. I'm going to be giving a very simple 3-step process, a framework that you can go back to every single time. So also, if you're in the Art Life School, this might be a really good refresher and reminder. And what I've done, everything that I've taught before, I'm teaching again, but I've found some ways to kind of really make it more concise and consolidate the information, I feel like, in the most organized way I've ever been able to do it. So you're welcome to join me for that as well, okay? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Gail Knowles. Good morning, Lynn Gatling and Maria Donnelly. Good morning, Mary Brackman. Good morning. Oh, good, Maria. I'm so glad you've loved these. Thank you so much. Good morning, Manet and Robin Raymond and Margaret Freed. So I also want to mention this. I made a post the other day. Facebook had mentioned to me, like, here are your top fans. Thank them for their support and your top fans. I said, that sounds like a great idea. Click. Thank you, everybody. And it tagged about 50 people. Okay, and a couple of people expressed that, hey, why wasn't I tagged? And one person also, kind of felt a little bit hurt because she felt like, oh, I'm a top fan. Why was I not tagged? You forgot about me. So if you want to earn, Facebook gives out badges basically, and one of those badges is like a little diamond. You might see it on some people's names here, a little diamond next to their name. That means that they are a top fan of Moa. I know it's a little weird, but it's not me doing it. It's Facebook automatically does it. So if you're interested in being included on things like that, first of all, make sure you have liked and followed this page, Kelli Folsom Art Life School. And then obviously what Facebook does is the more that you like my post or comment on my post, or comment on these videos, it starts to kind of build up points essentially to where they start to give you these badges, okay, for my page. So you can kind of see through here next to people's names, they might have little diamonds. And that means that A, they follow my page, B, they are active and engaging on my post. So if that's important to you and you want to be recognized and don't feel left out or don't get your feelings hurt, then make sure that you do those two things. That's the only way that you can get those badges, and Facebook will occasionally bring that up to me and encourage me to make a post. So all right, good morning, Debbie Nelson. Good morning, Dinah June. Okay, good morning, Wendy Nielsen. Yay, you're so welcome. Thank you all so much for expressing your gratitude and your appreciation, and mwah, right back at you. This has been such a wonderful, wonderful month. Being here with all of you every single morning has really, energized me as well. And I so appreciate everybody showing up and participating and painting, sometimes painting along or painting these afterwards. It's been so beautiful to see all of your paintings that you've done as well, from getting inspiration here. So let's get going on this little paintini. If you just tuned, oh, wow. Sorry about that. Oh, whoa. If you just tuned in, you can grab a screenshot of the little red rose that I'm going to paint, or I did post a photo for that since I love how you got the ceiling light view on that. So you can either grab a screenshot if you just tuned in, or you can download the photo that I posted on my Facebook page. All right. Good morning, Michelle Kurt. So good to see you. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. And then let me tighten this up so that doesn't happen again. Get this lowered. And again, if you just tuned in, I mentioned that I'm going to be doing this on the paintini size, and I'm going to do it as part of the set with the strawberry and the cherries I did earlier this month around Valentine's Day, which means I'm going to make that white background pink. But you can make your background any color that you want. Okay. Oh, there's no behind, Michelle. These are just for fun. And, paint the ones that light you up and let the rest go, or maybe just listen to them, here and there if you want to pick up some extra tips or insights. It's not, you have to be careful of those little shoulds and I'm behind and I can't keep up and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't really help us out much. So, I'm really doing these to, teach, and also for me to get back in the creative flow after my European trip, get back to still life painting for me, because in January, half of my month was so taken up with, moving in and just trying to get readjusted with the move and settled in here, that, I didn't paint a whole lot in January. And then whenever I was in Europe, I mostly painted, sorry, I'm going to have to move this because I mostly painted landscapes. So this is also getting me back in the flow of still life painting. So just take what you need and leave the rest is what I would say. Yeah, keeping up with a painting a day or a new demo a day is a lot for sure. It's been a lot for me too. Even just 5 days a week, is it's a lot. It's a lot. So whatever you have been able to do, everybody, make sure that you give yourself credit for that too. If you are a hyper achiever like me, oh, okay, that tube's done. If you have a kind of hyper achiever saboteur like myself, it's like this little voice inside that tells you that you're never doing enough. And it's just nonsense, right? So part of the way that we can counteract that is knowing that, our best is enough. And some days our best, looks maybe more impressive than other days, perhaps. But I think a really good lesson for myself and many of us who kind of carry that hyper achiever, it's both a blessing and a curse, right? A strength and a weakness. But if you also kind of carry that achievement, hyper achievement tendency, that can be one of the weaknesses of that, is falling into the mindset trap of thinking that we are not doing enough. So one thing I try to practice, and I do forget as well, is I just try to give myself credit, for what I have done. And try to celebrate that, not make it seem like, oh, I have to outdo myself tomorrow. I always have to, get more and more and more and achieve more and more and more and more, So that's really, been a challenge for me in my life to learn that lesson. And I'm still learning it. So food for thought. Okay, I'm just starting with some burnt umber and ultramarine blue just to get my mass in. This is so going to be so cute and little. And sometimes too, like if you have that kind of hyperachiever thing, or if you're a perfectionist, you might also kind of think that doing little paintings like this, oh, that's silly, it doesn't matter, big deal. Sometimes these are the kind of thoughts that can kind of creep in, like, oh, why are you even doing this? This feels like it's not challenging enough or not big enough. And so we just have to try to balance that, those judgments. They're really just our inner judge, inner critic, old stories that we believed a long time ago, or we tell ourselves. And it's just kind of a habitual judgment thinking process. So if you are, if you feel like you're having any thoughts like that, just recognize that that is your inner critic, your judge. And as long as you are in the space of self-judgment or judgment of others, right? As long as we are in that space, we really cannot be open to creativity. So creativity and flow and trust and openness, really, we have to let go of that inner critic in order to fully be able to tap into this moment, this opportunity right here and now in front of us to paint this, cute little paintini. So, yay, Marion says, I don't know what it is about these smalls, but they make my heart smile. Mine too, Marion, mine too. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so once I get kind of a rough idea of the size and placement, then I can begin to go in for some color. And I'm going to start with the color of the rose, which I'm going to begin with some alizarin crimson, some cab red light. I can approach this a couple of different ways. I can either kind of mass in, block in. Block in is, I think, more commonly used in today's painting instruction language rather than mass in. So if you understand the term block in, that's essentially what this is. I can either, start with the darks and then build the light reds on top, or I can start with the middle and then add in the darks and then add in the lights. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to start with kind of the middle tone red, which is a mix of alizarin crimson and cadmium red light, which kind of creates this almost like a cad red deep look if you've ever had a tube of that. It's just a beautiful, rich, ruby red. I don't block in the little green bits here because I'll paint those on top of the red. I like to paint whatever is underneath first. I want to try to make sure that I really study the contour closely here. Just because you're painting something small doesn't mean that it is not as intentional of a painting. I think, it's a good idea to always approach every painting as a learning opportunity and as a way to challenge yourself to just see a little bit deeper today, see a little more intimately today. Because it's lower pressure, you can also, take that chance, some of the pressure is relieved, which can open you up to, just seeing new things or seeing more sensitively today. So I'm really studying this contour, the little ins and outs, as if I were to cut this rose out with a flat piece of construction paper and really kind of get all of the little nuances of the contour of this rose started just in one flat cutout shape. Okay, so wiping that out of my brush with my paper towel, and I'll grab a little bit of some ivory black here and a little bit of the cad yellow deep. So if you feel like you've been getting, too heavy on yourself, too judgmental, too critical, see if you can let go of those controlling tendencies, those kind of stickler, control freak tendencies that some of us have. I have it too. And tap into more of kind of your inner child, sense of play. See, you might even pull out a photo of you as a child, which is a good idea. And just to look at yourself and how innocent you were, and think back to a time whenever you really did not have that judgment when it came to creating, where you just enjoyed, making something perhaps, or enjoyed exploring your imagination and having fun playing. And see if you can tap back into that today. So I added a little more ultramarine blue to this and a little more cad yellow to get a lighter green. And then I noticed that I sure did put out a lot of titanium white for myself. That was interesting. I noticed that the other green, is kind of a sagey green on the leaf where it's turned over upside down. So I'm going to mix into this pile of green, but I'm going to add in, maybe some white, some more ultramarine blue, maybe even a softer yellow, like a yellow ochre. And I love that there's kind of this red color showing up in this leaf as well, which usually happen, whatever the color of the flower is, typically the color of that flower starts to show up in, the veining of the leaves. So in this case, some of that red also shows up, but I'll paint that kind of sagey green first. Now, I'm going to kind of block in. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to block in the cast shadow underneath the rose, which is going to let us know that this is sitting, sitting down, laying down on this tabletop plane. If my background color is going to be, for example, like a light pink, like what I did earlier this month. Let me just look at one of those paintings. So this is the, I'm kind of going off of my strawberry here, which was so fun to paint. And I want them to go together pretty well. So I'll just kind of put that up there as a way to begin. So if my color of the background is kind of in that light pink, and that looks pretty similar to what I had there. Then that'll help me, kind of judge. Almost looks like maybe I had a little bit of Naples yellow because it seems a little bit warmer. It'll help me judge the value of the shadow that I'll need more accurately. Yeah, there's a little Naples yellow in there. And whenever I come around this side of the rose, there's no cast shadow above the rose, so I can come around and just further kind of carve out the block-in shape of the rose. Making sure I'm keep adding paint to my pile, even on this little paintini, and make sure I have enough thick paint on the brush to carve in and around. That's great. You want sharper edges on that outer contour. And then I'm going to paint around where the cast shadow is going to be. It's just kind of repeating the shape of the rose. Filling that in. Add more color to my pile here with the cab red light and a little pinch of Naples yellow, because you can see as you add more white, maybe you lose the color. Again, kind of painting around where this cast shadow is on the tabletop plane. So if you ever feel like, oh, I don't have any time to paint, you can always do something like this. Have these little miniature canvases ready to go. Maybe have a stack of, have a folder of photos. If you don't have, the actual props ready to go, don't believe that foolish fib that sometimes, our resistance likes to tell us, I don't have time to paint. It's like, yeah, you do. What do you have time to do? What do you have time to do? So I think a little bit of painting every day is so much better than waiting until you have 8 hours or multiple days in a row, to do some grand thing that you think is more important than doing a little study or a little paintini, right? No worries if you're late to the party, you can watch this on replay. Okay, now that I've got the color that I want back there, going to mix up some shadow color for that white, that pinkish white. I'm going to do some burnt umber, some alizarin crimson, little tiny bit of white, since both of those colors are so dark. And let's see how that looks. It should feel related to the color of the surface it's on, since I'm believing that this is a pink, kind of a light pink cloth rather than a white cloth. It's not quite as dark of value, I would say, as the dark red on the rose. So I'm just lightening that shadow a little bit. Might even need a little bit of blue in it. Also not as rich of a color as the light or the other colors in the painting. So I knew that shadow color would probably be the trickiest thing to figure out, especially since I don't actually have a pink surface that I'm looking at. So that's why it's important for me to put in these other colors for context. Okay. And I feel like, especially in today's day and time in the world that we're living in right now, it's important to make sure that you're nurturing yourself, caring for yourself. It's way too easy to let all of the chaos and the noise in and distract us and take away our energy. There's a story, I don't know if you've ever, not a story, but there's a technique that if you have a bunch of wild horses, I don't know what these people are called that have horses. Sorry, I forget their title. But anyways, people who take care of horses, if they have a bunch of horses that are, kind of going kind of crazy and getting this frenetic energy and nervous energy, a trick that they will, or a technique that they will use is they will put a mule in with the horses. And this is because, mules are, much calmer than horses, and they tend to have this kind of steady, calm energy about them. And what's fascinating is that by putting in the mule with the horses, that the energy of the mule starts to rub off on those crazy, chaotic horses. So I think it's really a fascinating example to think about, and we too can choose to be kind of that calm force in the midst of everybody else losing their ever loving minds. Which, not to say that there's not reason for that, or it feels like there's reason for that, but for me it's like, okay, that's all happening. Everybody's being reactive, and but I'm not gonna let other people's energy take over mine. I get to be in control of my own energy, my own life force. And so part of exercising that energy and that life force and that control for me is showing up and doing my thing, man. Showing up and painting anyway. Even if you feel like forces in your life are trying to bring you down, or maybe you're just going through a hard time right now, how can you, exercise that calm energy? What can you do to kind of bring that in? And painting is such a fabulous way, obviously mindfulness techniques. Painting, is basically mindfulness. Some people use meditation as a form of bringing mindfulness and calm into their life. And so, anyways, just food for thought. And it's not for nothing, because whenever you take care of yourself and you choose to bring that, contribute that energy to the world, you're a part of the solution, not the problem. Even if you can't really see how it's making a difference, how it's making an impact, it is. So if you're going to the grocery store today and you have cultivated this sense of calm, and you've tapped into your inner, your inner kind of calm mule, energy, it changes everything. It changes how you interact with people. Well, that's a little too bright and light, so I don't want that much contrast on the lip part of the rose. I add back in a little bit of alizarin to it. So it just creates a ripple effect, so food for thought today. It's not selfish to take care of yourself and paint and, feel that sense of creativity and creation, coursing through you, flowing through you. Just coming in and putting in these lighter folds. It's actually for everybody's higher being for us to do that, because we show up differently in the world whenever we do that. If we're walking around judging ourselves or feeling bad that we didn't paint, and then we're feeling guilty about that, or maybe you're just you've kind of gotten into a rut and you're feeling uninspired. That's happened to me quite a lot during the course of my career. Well, all of that impacts everybody else and how we show up, with others as well. Okay, I'm going to mix up. I'm down to a 0 now, and I do have a little round liner brush here just in case. I'm going to go in with a little cad lemon, a little ultramarine blue, and I'm just seeing where, there's a little bit more light green right there, just a little touch of light green with flowers underneath the head of the flower, because the head of the flower is much larger than the stem. You have cast shadow, right? So I'm also making a darker green right underneath the head, just a couple touches of the brush to indicate that light and shadow. And I think we need a little more stem down here. I feel like maybe I got quite a bit of white in there. I might want to bring back in some pink here in a moment. And then on the vein of this has more red in it. So I'm going to switch to my little liner brush and just start to get in some of that red. It's kind of a purpley red, it looks like to me. And maybe lighten that up a pinch. It's kind of my shadow color really on the tabletop plane. Maybe take some time today to think about what you need. What are your needs? What needs are not being met right now for you? So much of the time, I know that many, especially women in particular, but many of us are so focused on what needs to be done. What do other people need from us? Maybe you're just busy. Maybe you are, I know many of you are caretakers for partners or, spouses or whatnot that may be having health issues. And perhaps you just don't take your own time to find time to create, find time to dream, find time to think about maybe what your goals are, what you might want to do or might need. So even if it's just 20 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you can do, maybe it's just little moments throughout the day where you can find that space and that time for yourself. I'm down to this little round, just like looking at contrasts around the white cloth, kind of going back and forth on the colors in here. Such beautiful nuanced colors in here. Looks like there's a little lighter pink there on the edge of that. Stem. Like the spine of the leaf. Okay, going back to the green, there's one over here that I kind of covered up accidentally. Going back to the cad lemon and ultramarine blue, and I want to get this kind of nice, graceful, curving one here. Beautiful, beautiful shape, curving around. This one overlapping, curving. These can kind of tell the story of the form of the rose as well, so it might be worth the extra concentration and effort to get that in. Just looking to see if I'm missing anything else that I feel is, really important. There's an overlap here where this petal is folded over, and I feel like I can bring out more of that crease, that fold of the petal. So there's a little bit more kind of a cool light here. This is so challenging to do and not just pull paint off with this teeny tiny brush. But basically there's cast shadow that's underneath this folded over petal. I'm going to see if I can create that a little bit stronger. Just cast shadow underneath. And then coming back in with just the finest edge. You have to use your finger to kind of brace against the easel, to get more control in that brush stroke. Then there's, and of course you can kind of use your pinky to brace as well. Okay. So I hope that you can see that, 20, 30 minutes, even with a small painting, you can approach that with so much focus and intentionality. You could just set aside, make the time for that, and also just kind of prepare to have the time for that. I find that, having all the supplies that I need, having, canvases on hand, having things that I want to paint, or if you like working from photo references, having plenty of photo references prepared and ready to go so that I always have something on the ready. I don't have to think too much about what to actually paint. Then that way I can just pick up a brush and create something with, intentionality. It's still, every time you put paint to canvas, you're learning, you're growing, and every little bit of that counts and matters. So I think with these little paintinis, instead of signing them on the front because they're so small, I would probably sign them, on the back of the canvas or on the side or something. Probably on the back of the canvas. All right, everybody. Yay! So glad that you've enjoyed these. It has been so much fun. So much fun. Yay! So I want to hear from you. What is one small action, inspired action you can take today towards your art growth, towards your art goals? What is something you can do today to work towards that? Even if it's not, completing something fully, what's one thing that you can do and create today towards your goals? Let me know in the comments below. So we don't want to get stuck and stagnant. We want to keep growing. We want to keep learning. Yay, Cindy. I'm so glad that talking about unrealistic expectations helped you. Yeah, it's not wrong for us to have ambitions and dreams. But there's also like a difference between, expecting so much of ourselves all the time. So see if you can just take a deep breath and know like whatever you can create today is good enough. That is the best that you can do, and celebrating that and honoring that part of ourselves. Like, yeah, I showed up, I did what I could do, and that was the best that I could do. And, what happens is that begins to create that kind of winning mindset, that positive intelligence, and begins to spiral you up, higher and higher and higher. So negative reinforcement never works. And I still am learning that lesson to this day in myself. All right. Lynn says going to paint a couple of paintinis. I love that. Gail says set up my painting area. It was packed away for the holidays. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yeah. So I find that to be so critical. If things are not out, if I can't see them, if they're not ready to go, then I'm really going to be so less likely to have it top of mind. So even just having, maybe you have a sketchbook out or even an art book. I love keeping an art book open on my table here in the studio as a source of inspiration. I might just flip to a different page, or might see it out of the corner of my eye and go, oh yeah, I'm going to look at that book some more. And then a painting, just, oh gosh, that painting is gorgeous, and it gets me inspired and motivated to create my own. Wendy says, for me, having my supplies, something to paint on and paint with. So maybe for some of you, you're like, yeah, I don't really have enough canvases, or I'm out of this, or I'm out of that. Or maybe you just don't have an abundant supply of it. If you're able to, if you have the financial means to, obviously, make sure that you have an abundant supply of things to create with. All right, Marion, I'm so glad that you have enjoyed these mornings. Yay, Lucy coming to the OPA talk here in a few hours. Love that, love that. So excited for that. And reminder, everybody, if you missed that announcement, I'm going to be doing an Oil Painting of America presentation on still life arrangements, arranging successful still lifes easily or easier. So make sure you register for their Zoom link. Even if you can't attend live, they will send you the recording on Sunday. Okay, Manny says, love this one. I'm going to miss waking up to these classes. I usually try to paint daily. I just don't like to post. That's okay. Yeah, we don't have to share all the time what we create. And I do want to challenge everybody to make sure you're sharing something. If you're painting every day, at least maybe one a week. Sometimes we need to get other people, we need to find our cheerleaders, right? And, I love to be your cheerleader. You guys are my cheerleader. We need to find our cheerleaders. We need to get people enrolled in our goals, enrolled in our vision, right? So yes, make sure you're not isolating too much. You want to get people on your side. The link for OPA, I've made multiple posts on that. So go to my Facebook page, check out the recent post, or go to my stories. The link is in those. All right, you're so welcome, everybody, and you can get registered for that, and that is at noon Central. Okay, much love and happy painting. Bye for now.